It was weird. My back ached, my sides hurt, my ass throbbed, and my neck felt stiff as a board. But my legs were fine and dandy. I would need to chow down on some gems soon, though. There was a little blinking message in the corner of my eye telling me that my main energy storage was getting low. The cart was squealing too. Something was burning up inside it. Scotch had used up all her grease already, and it smelled like any second the cart was either going to lock up or catch fire. Maybe both. We were drawing close to Brimstone's Fall, though. I could see the outbuildings and the perimeter fencing. It looked fine and dandy. Quiet. Shit. Unhook me. Something's wrong, I muttered. Where was the cloud of rock dust? Where were the sentries? I shifted impatiently in the harness, my teeth working the battle saddle bit. Looking up to the north, I could see the Rosehoof Academy. It was smoldering, and the reinforced buildings were now streaked with a blackened soot. Once I was loose, I ran around with the railway gate and into the yard. The doors to the admin office and barracks were open, and there were sounds of banging, whooping, and hollering. A small mob of scavengers was picking the buildings clean, tossing anything not easily edible or easily converted into caps aside. Then, one, a rancid-looking ghoul if I ever saw one, noticed me. His eyes popped wide, and he croaked, "Reapers!" You know, right now, I felt like that term was pretty applicable. As the scavengers grabbed what they could and scampered, I chased him down in 3 leaps and pinned him outside the barracks, as the rest ran with whatever knickknacks they could carry. "What happened here? Where is every pony? Where's Dusty Trails?" I yelled into his face, beating him with my hooves. All my friends ran up to support me, save Lacuna, who hung back. "I don't know. I don't know anything." The boiled-looking pony pled as he curled up defensively. "Blackjack!" Glory said sharply, snapping me out of my momentary rage. I looked down at his bent forelegs. I'd snapped both in my tackle and hadn't even realized it. Hadn't heard or felt a thing. I backed off, and she fished out one of our 10-pony healing potions. I noticed I was already losing some of its color. It was potent enough to heal the ghoul, enough to hobble, though. Some radiation, and he'd be right as rain. Right? "Came here this morning, with all the attacks. Heard there'd be top-notch salvage," he croaked. "Please, don't kill me." "Tell me more about the attacks," I said levenly, as I backed off enough for him to sit up. "They started a few days back, right after the whole Celestia explosion that killed security and half the Rangers. Expert Merc band hit Megamart hard. I mean, hard. Then they scragged the group at Fluttershy's clinic. Then Stockyard. Marched the whole village into a radioactive hole and just waited for 'em to die. Cold, man, cold. Still, might mean a few new ghoulies." He chuckled with a wan smile. "Hope some of 'em are cute." That got some hard looks from me, and his grin sickened as his milky eyes darted away. "Anyway, that place was picked clean, and there was already a crew up at the school thing, so we came here. Just been an hour or so." "Then the academy. Then here," I murmured. I scowled at him. "But where is every pony?" I demanded. "I don't know. There was, no pony here. Honest. You think I can take a whole town of ponies with my bare hooves and swinging cock?" he retorted. "What cock?" Scotch murmured scornfully. "Oh, shit! Did that thing fall off again?" he said as he looked around under him. I closed my eyes and shuddered with the effort to not buck him into pieces then and there. "Get lost," P-21 said flatly. The ghoul nodded so fast it looked like his head would come off. Little flakes of hide sloshed off in a cloud. "Right, yeah, getting lost. So lost. Now, where was I?" he said as he staggered away. Hoovington Rises and shit." I turned and glared at him. What did you just say? He froze, clearly torn between running for his life and cowering for mercy. Slowly, I rose to my hooves and tightened my jaw, making Taurus's rifle cock. Me? Say? Fuck, I didn't say anything. Nothing at all. What you just said. Hoofington rises. Why did you say that? Glory asked as she stepped into the line of fire. The ghoul blinked in confusion. Well, I don't fucking know. It's just shit folks say these days. Like Sweet Celestia or Luna fuck my ass with a frosty strap on, you know? He looked at each of us desperately. It's just what people fucking say! I chewed the saddle bit. One jerk of my head and I could try out firing it. Be kind, a little yellow Pegasus reminded me. Do better. Glory looked back at me, spooked at my anger. She seemed to be asking how I could pardon those four, but be so ready to smash one ghoul into paint. I had to admit it bothered me too. Why was I so angry at him? Go, P21 murmured darkly. Can I? He pointed at his looted goods. Take them and go! I snapped. That was as kind as I was going to get right now. I knew that, for a scavenger like him, it'd mean the difference between life and death. But that didn't mean I had to be happy about it. When he was gone, I stomped my hooves. Any evidence probably got taken away by the scavengers who... Blackjack! Rampage said in a dark and even tone. I looked at her, then saw her pointing towards the metal doors with her armored hoof. I looked and froze. I'd been so occupied with the scavengers and the ghoul that I'd missed the letters painted 6 feet tall in maroon paint that wasn't paint. Security. Slowly, I trotted forward, looking at the bloody slop drying in a rusty bucket beside the door and the paintbrush shoved within. I pushed the door open, and a stench rolled over my nose and skin. I didn't know words to describe that metallic reek. All I knew was that it was bad. I didn't have a real stomach anymore, but if I did, I'd be puking like the rest of my friends. Lacuna groaned as she slumped. I looked at her sharply. Enervation? She nodded. Suddenly, my friends were looking at each other. They all seemed tired and drawn all of a sudden. It wasn't like this before, I said softly, looking at P21 and Glory for confirmation. But, aren't you feeling it? P21 asked me in concern. That surprised me. No, actually. I didn't feel the lethargy or pain or anything. I just felt like me. No, I guess it's the cybernetics or something. I frowned. That didn't seem right. I'll check inside. You folks see if you can find anything not picked over yet. She throttles a scavenger, then tells us to scavenge. Inconsistent much? Rampage muttered, but our eyes met. I was pissed and she knew this wasn't the time. I took 2 steps in and nearly walked right into a recorder hanging from a rope in front of me. I looked at it for the longest moment before remembering that my horn didn't work. Damn it. Slowly, I reached out with my hooves and tried to tug it free. Finally, I just downloaded the contents from the device and gave it a shove, sending it swinging into the darkness. The air was thick and heavy and silent as I selected the audio file. I looked around. 1 Blue Barm EFS. If this was a trap, and it probably was, then they were probably using stealth bucks or zebra stealth cloaks. For several seconds there was nothing but the sound of machinery and the movement of ponies, but then a male rasped in a familiar voice. They say the 3rd time's the charm. Sanguine's words filled the dark tunnel as if he stood beside me. I always wondered where that came from. What is twice not trying hard enough and 4 times giving up 'cause you're fucked? Always wondered that. I found myself trotting faster, my augmented eyes picking out the gray rails of the tunnels and avoiding pitfalls as I looked for mines, tripwires, and other traps. The air felt wrong. It felt wet. There was another long pause. I guess that's not true, though. We've been waiting for hours, security, and you still haven't shown up. No words from that DJ fuck either. But I know you, security. I know that you didn't die with that ship. I don't care what they fucking say. You're alive, because if you're dead, then I'm fucked anyway. And if you're alive, then you're following me. You're just taking your time. I sped up, trotting past the little security station halfway in. Now I was tripping every now and then as I raced forward. Well, let me give you some more incentive to hurry your ass along. I want my program. My time is fucking up. I can't stay here anymore. That thing in the core is awake thanks to you. That shit is going to happen, all because of you. Red-Eye might be able to stop it. Who the fuck knows? But I need a bargaining chip if he's going to keep me safe and sound. I need Chimera. For that, I need EDC 1101. There was a horrible silence, then the grinding of machinery, and the terrified sniffling and sobbing of ponies. Do it. Psycho Shy's voice broke in. Sanguine, you can't be serious. Stockyard was fucked up enough. Throw them in, now, he snarled. All of them. Save her for last. Whatever, murmured an unfamiliar voice. It's awesome. And then the screams began, just like Gorgon had screamed. The gnashing metal noise became muted, pulpy. I didn't think, I simply ran. I ran as if I could somehow magically sprint back in time. I raced faster and faster, propelled by the screams of the ponies that I was already too late to save. And then suddenly, I was in the round cavern, the ledge ending abruptly behind me as I tried to stop. Momentum carried me onwards. It flipped me forward into the dark and still void. My hooves flailed in the air as I twisted, hoping there was some magical telescopic leg thing that would help me grab the edge. But there wasn't. As I fell, as horrified screams blazed out from my leg. The pool below broke my fall. It wasn't very big, wasn't very deep, but it was deep enough. My metal legs sent me straight to the bottom as I struggled and flailed. I opened my mouth and then I tasted it. I screamed into the thick soup and tasted blood. He'd put them all through the crusher. I'd flailed and struggled, trying to find footing beneath me. A little O2 gauge began to drop. I might have been cybernetic, but I still needed to breathe. I could see nothing, hear nothing. I felt bits bobbing and brushing against me as my hooves flailed and kicked out under me. I was going to drown in the crushed-up remains of dozens of pony workers. Then I felt hooves grab my neck and pull. My head broke the surface. Then my mouth. I automatically took a breath, a reeking, coppery, iron breath. I wanted to be sick of all this. I wanted to wake up. Stop it, Blackjack! Stand up! P21 shouted into my ear. The interruption took only a moment or two, but it was enough to make me calm down. I got my hooves under me and stood. My muscles shook, my legs remained steady. The foul mixture of pony and rainwater was little more than chest-high at the base of the crusher. The small blue buck carefully helped me along to where the ramp led up to the ledge, my superior weight threatening to drag me down and make me slip. I'd been lucky to fall where I had, and not get speared on the many spires of rock and broken bone. Right. I was lucky. Brimstone Fall wasn't.